I hear you like Minecraft beta.
Yep.
Yo, I'm Walter White, and today I've got the perfect video essay for you. Or, should I say, a video essay. Now, in all seriousness, I've never made a video like this before. In fact, this is the first time I'm doing anything like this, so if it sucks, sorry. But the reason I'm doing it is because quite often in the comments of my videos, I get asked questions like, how do you have so many ideas? You know, or where do you get your ideas from?
Where do you get your ideas from?
So, here it is. Tips on how to build better in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3. Right, I think that's enough bollocks. Speaking of bollocks, planning your builds. Not sure what that has to do with bollocks, but I needed to get to the next point. Now, this is fairly obvious. I mean, obviously plan your builds. So instead, I'll go more in depth on something I don't see mentioned too much, and that is sightlines. Thinking ahead about your builds and what angles it can be best seen from can go a long way when you accommodate your layout towards that. Take my church, for example. I like the way it looks from the side here, so I made a road heading straight to it. I also like this angle, but an angle I didn't like is the backside. Get it? But so instead I made the rear road go at an angle diagonally towards the church, which I think looks a lot more interesting and a lot better. Something I like to do when creating large towns or cities is putting my buildings into two categories. Category 1 is large main attractions. These are buildings I usually like to start off with, usually placed in prime positioning on the Minecraft terrain, such as hills or just like nice areas. I either make these first or know where I want to have them before moving on to category 2, which is less important buildings such as houses or whatever, because this can be anything. In my case, I'm making a medieval British village, but you can apply what I'm saying to pretty much any style of build anywhere, whether it's a cyberpunk city or Nazi-occupied Scotland. So basically, I have the locations for my main gigantic builds planned out, or like at least in my head. Then I build roads leading to them and angles I find the most interesting looking. Then of course you make whatever you want along the roads leading to the main attraction. This way, when following the main roads, your builds are shown off in like a picturesque way. I found that not building like this leads to my towns having, you know, amazingly built structures that are kind of crammed together without truly being shown off. One thing that can be an issue is sometimes you might fall into a trap doing this where you end up with a pattern similar to this. To avoid this, what I tend to do is apply everything I just said, but also follow the already, you know, made Minecraft terrain. This way you sort of get given a layout that's a lot less predictable and you can, you know, build towards that. Inspiration! I'd be a lying hillbilly fuck if I told you every build I've ever made is 100% totally original. I mean, actually, a lot of my builds are heavily inspired by real-world locations. So if you're struggling to think of anything to build, then I definitely recommend just searching random shit on Google. Ah!
Hi, Ryan.
Hi. But don't choke on my big cock. I mean, don't choke on your inspirations, director. It's not cool or down with the kids to just straight up copy the inspiration I have. That's kind of boring to me. Something I do fairly often is I'll see a building I like the look of, then I try think of a way to make it my own, or fit into my town's already established aesthetic. I personally love taking buildings and adding on a bit of like a Minecraft spin to them. Really try and make them fit into the world of Minecraft. Usually by incorporating objects from the world of Minecraft into my build. Usually by incorporating objects from the world of Minecraft into my builds, much like how the Lego sets do. Scale is another thing I like to get right. I much prefer builds that are in the scale of the world of Minecraft and to the player character. This usually means, you know, windows are smaller than doors, and what are supposed to be small houses are actually small, not twice as big as the nearest tree, or most of the landscape, you know, like a child's drawing where the cat's bigger than the house. Again, I'm trying not to be Minecraft building Hitler. I highly recommend you just build whatever the fuck you want, no matter what size it is. This is just how I build. Hi.
Ah, Jesus Christ, my fucking eyes.
In Minecraft beta, it can be pretty challenging to keep hostile mobs out of your builds. Oh, you son of a fuck! You son of a bitch! You absolute plonker. Especially since mobs spawn at a light level of 7 or below in beta 1.7.3, as opposed to being able to spawn at a light level of 0 in the modern game. So lighting up your shit is definitely top priority, and an easy way of doing this, of course, is torch spam. But, I fucking hate torch spam, man. It's so goddamn ugly.
Happy birthday, baby girl.
Sometimes they can be used well. I do think they look quite nice here on my castle wall of the alpha world during the night. But just like gay sex, in my opinion, lighting is best done when hidden. You have the classic ways such as, you know, glowstone, but fucking can't. Right, that is it. Drive past my house again and I fuck your dog. You have the classic ways such as glowstone behind paintings or torches around a corner, but sometimes you might not have considered all the options, like infinitely lit up furnaces. And this is a totally vanilla thing, by the way. Zero cheats. I mean, it is a glitch, but it is very simple. Here, I'll show you. All you're going to need for this is a furnace, a lever, a piston, and then 2 items to smelt. You want to place the furnace on the ground, then place the piston heading into the furnace like that, and then flick the lever. It won't do anything. Then what you want to do is you want to smelt anything in the furnace. Now, mind you, whatever you smelt will disappear. You will lose it, so make sure it's something cheap, like, you know, sticks and wood. You do that, bam, break the piston, and there you go, infinitely lit up furnace. Now, mind you, it does kind of like, the rotations can be a bit fucked. You might have to try it a few times from different angles for you to get this. These can be used to light up your kitchen without torches, and I love to use them in stone paths like this. See, if you push them down into the ground and place a stone pressure plate on them, they light the area up and look relatively blended in. I mean, it's not perfect, but I mean, come on, it's better than this Tom Spunkery. Something fairly similar I like to do, but for more grassy areas, is just digging down 2 spaces, placing glowstone in the dirt, then a piece of wood log on the side due to, you know, leaves needing them in beta. Then just build back up to the surface using leaves, and then bam, wallop, there you go. Same effect as the furnace floor. Also adds some nice texture into grass areas and keeps James-earned bones out. I mean, honestly, glowstone behind bushes is a pretty nice way of lighting up any area anywhere, no matter what. One that isn't so nice, though, is fire. Mainly due to the fact that it can spread and turn sleeping granny to ashes during the night.
I don't know. I think I kind of like it. What do you mean you kind of like it?
However, one neat trick to stop the spreading of fire in beta is to just replace all the wooden planks in the area of the fire with slab equivalent. See, the fat bald god himself was kind of lazy when making this game, so wooden slabs in beta are basically, well, they're literally just the stone slabs. I mean, you can't even mine them with an axe. The positive of this is that they don't catch fire, even as a full block. This makes building wooden houses with fire inside a fuck ton easier. Same with anything wooden in the nether, really.
Right, let's go on eBay. Last time I went on eBay, I got a bunch of fucking dildo.
Another trick that can stop chronic firea that you might not know about is using invisible stairs. Again, totally vanilla. Like the furnace trick, this is just no cheats at all. All you need is a sticky piston. Make sure it is a sticky piston. You need some stone stairs. It can work with wooden ones though. Redstone torches, redstone dust, and then a block. What you want to do is you want to place a sticky piston facing like this, and then put a stair in front of it. Place a block next to the piston, and put 2 redstone dust going this way. Then, when you place a redstone torch here, bam! There you go. Invisible stair. Then with the invisible stair, you can place it around your house and block off any potential fire hazards without any major adjustments. And there's so many more different tricks like this in Minecraft beta. I suggest subscribing to my girlfriend's boyfriend's channel called Box Blair. He has multiple different videos on tricks like this, such as like all kinds of things you can do with pistons and all the weird wacky things you can do with portals in beta. And of course you can use these tricks for much more than I've showcased here. So get creative, you know, make an invisible stair house and forget where you put it. I don't know. Have fun. Detailing builds in beta, honestly, has got to be one of my favorite parts of the building process. Now, beta has far less blocks than the modern game, which I actually prefer the limit a lot more. It makes me think and be a lot more creative in different ways than just, you know, placing a gate and calling it a day. I like to compare it to Lego. In the oldie days of Lego, it was a lot more blocky, but it was also a lot more unique and colorful. They thought outside of the box to achieve the build they wanted to make. Whereas now, instead of using multiple pieces to create an object, they just have that object as a Lego piece. And I feel kind of the same way about a lot of things in modern Minecraft. Now, I'm not saying modern Minecraft builds or today's Lego isn't creative or good looking. I actually think they're rather nice and well detailed, but they aren't this. And this is what I prefer. Simple, bold, colorful, and a lot more fun to build with for me. Learning to use every obtainable or unobtainable block in beta is really impressive when seeing the final result. Just so many builds with combinations of blocks you just rarely ever see together. Some examples of blocks that work really well together, but I just don't see used too often are clay and light grey wool, soul sand, spruce and brown wool, bricks and red wool, netherrack and redstone torches, pineapple and pizza, obsidian and sand, snow, white wool and birch logs. There are so many great combinations out there that I like to use as often as I can. Soul sand specifically is a block that's incredibly underused. You can use it for all sorts of things, whether it's making houses, detailing rivers, or just detailing the landscape. This block looks great in almost any situation, and I wish I used it more. I bet you do, asshole. Speaking of rivers, beta 1.7.3 is pre-aquatic update, so there's no underwater plants like kelp at all. However, if you're an OG, smart, or have seen it elsewhere, then you may remember a time when sugarcane was placeable underwater. I mean, as long as it's near like a dip. This makes for a really nice kelp alternative, and I recommend using it in your river with a mix of leaves and glowstone for a bonus. Speaking of a bonus, where's my money? Sandstone slabs also make for great detailing in rivers and also beaches. Placing them on the sides of sand really makes a nice smooth looking landscape, which I'll highly recommend too. Just don't go under the water. It looks like cum fuckery with them under there. Speaking of cum fuckery, trees. Now, what could you possibly do with trees in Minecraft beta? Well, not much, but you can stick red wool around them to make it look like they have apples. Red mushrooms are also placeable on leaves to make some sort of berries, I guess. I don't know. It looks cool though. Mushroom. I found placing colored wool behind leaves is an interesting way of giving the illusion of like a colorful bush. Not that kind. Also, combining different types of leaves look rather nice too. Add some shadow details, which if done well makes a big difference. I could go on forever, point out the obvious, you know, levers, buttons, pressure plates, signs, paintings, and redstone torches. Clearly really good at detailing your builds. I found redstone torches especially good. I use them a great deal. They're so pretty looking in beta and make for like great outlines on a lot of my builds. But an absolute lifesaver for me in beta is the glitch that allows you to create floating trapdoors and rails, something you can't actually normally do in beta. All you gotta do is press your left and right mouse buttons at the same time whilst pointing at a lever that's next to a piston that is pushing either the trapdoor or rail you want floating. It's so simple that I feel like an absolute stuffed goat sack for it taking so long to figure out. But yeah, that's kind of it. I don't really know what else to say. This video has gone on probably about far too long. I could have gone over the generic basics, you know, like make sure the floor isn't the same block as the walls, make sure you build it the right way round, make sure your game's loaded, make sure the window isn't facing the basement, you know. Oh, actually, that could be quite cool. I feel like all of that's a bit too obvious, and I only made this video to kind of go over little tiny things that I personally do to make my builds better that I don't see a lot of other people doing. Of course, I'm sure there are a lot of people doing this. Watching this video is probably like eating milk with cereal for a lot of you because you do this shit every day. I did only make this because I was requested to, and I would like to emphasize, just build whatever the fuck you like. I'm not the king of Minecraft building. I mean, I should be. I'm pretty good. But I don't know everything. Just kind of do what you want, build what you want, and don't give a fuck what anyone else thinks. Because honestly, I quite like the fact that there's not really many standards in the beta Minecraft building community. It's not like modern Minecraft where the standard is so goddamn high that just building a wooden house with a big window seems kind of boring because it doesn't have 15 amethysts on the roof. So really, just do what you want. And besides, I don't really want any of you to be good at building, because if you are, then I have competition. My ass is fried.
You can do whatever the fuck you want to do.
The end.